Now that we have factoring under our belt, we're going to solve by factoring. And so I'm just going to take a look at 36 and 38 here. The biggest thing, one side has to equal 0. Has to. What does it have to equal? 0. If you look at all these questions, we're good, so that's nice. So first thing I look for, GCF. Do I have GCF? No, I do not. So I'm just going to go straight to my glasses and say what multiplies to 48 but adds to the negative 14. I think 6 and 8 will do it, but it has to be negative, so that'll be a negative 6 and a negative 8. And because my a value is 1, meaning there's no number in front of x squared right now, I can just take these guys and put them in parentheses. So going x minus 6 times x minus 8 equals 0. So this has been factored, but if I want to solve, then I'm using what we're calling here the zero product property. I hope that rings a bell, and if it doesn't, that's okay. Just pretend for my sake that it did. Basically, here's what we got. I got some junk times some stuff equals 0. Well, if two things multiply to be 0, I know that one of those things has to be 0. So I know that either x minus 6 equals 0 or x, whoops, where's my whiteout? Got it, okay. Or x minus 8 equals 0. And now I'm just trying to get x by itself. So we add 6 over here and I get x equals 6. I add 8 and I get x equals 8. And that's all it is. We've talked about a lot because that it's like, oh, we're just switching the sign of what's in here. This is why. This is what's happening because I'm trying to find what value am I plugging into that parentheses that's going to get that parentheses equal to 0 like we did here. Let's take a look at 38. First thing, GCF. No GCF. So I do my glasses and multiply and say, okay, what multiplies to negative 12 but adds to this negative 11? And I've got negative 12 and positive 1. Now, on this one, I cannot use the shortcut because a is 3. That does not equal 1. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to substitute both of these in for that negative 11a right there. So I got 3a squared. Now substitute those in. Negative 12a plus 1a minus 4 equals 0. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to split that in half, and I'm just factoring out the GCF of both sides. So looking on this side, I see that my GCF is 3a. If I divide all those by 3a, I get a minus 4. On the right side, they don't have a GCF, so in this situation, I'm just going to pull out a positive 1. It's still a minus 4, because remember, we need these to be the same. That means we did it right. So these friends right here come to make their own parentheses, 3a plus 1, and then the a minus 4 carries down. So that was factoring it. If I'm solving it, that means I have to get to a equals something. I'm going to do the same thing up here, knowing junk times stuff equals 0. That means either junk or stuff has to be 0. So I'm saying either 3a plus 1 equals 0 or a minus 4 equals 0. I'm doing this one first because it looks easier. So I got a equals positive 4 over there. And on this one, subtract 1. So 3a is negative 1. Divide it by 3. And I'm just going to write it over here. A equals negative 1/3. And that's it.